Okay, council, it's Wednesday, May the 28th. So I'd like to welcome council and staff to our meeting this evening. I would remind you to all within the council chamber to please ensure your communication devices. Council, it's Wednesday, May the 28th. I'd like to welcome council. Okay, Jess?
Yeah.
All right, please ensure your communication devices are either shut off or put on silent. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize that this is National Public Works Week. I'd like to thank the men and the women who make up our Public Works Department for all that they do for the residents of our municipality, keeping things operational, same time working in a safe manner. This meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, the Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together, as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Council, I would remind you, if you have pecuniary interest, please declare it at the appropriate time. We have no delegations, nothing has been added, Deputy Clerk. Okay. Item number 5. Business arising from previous meetings. We have nothing that's been added since then.
No.
Okay. Council, let's go to item 6 on the agenda. Motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Councillor Vasey. That the minutes be adopted by council and those confidential minutes of the closed sessions. Council remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Would be our regular council meeting minutes of May the 14th, 2025, as well as our regular closed council meeting minutes of May 14th, 2025. All for the vote. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, council, let's go to item 6.2. A motion by Councillor Vasey, seconded by Councillor Bojan, that the minutes be adopted by council and those confidential minutes of the closed sessions remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That would be our Parks and Recreation Committee meeting minutes of April 17th, 2025. Council, you've had a chance to read those minutes. We have Councillor Vasey, who chairs it, here with us this evening. Are there any questions? Councillor Vasey, I have a couple questions for you. First of all, at the very first, there was somebody by the name of Turth, president of the Panthera Athletic Club. Does that person have a first name, or has that just been missed from the minutes?
He does. I don't remember. Do you remember it off the top of your head?
Through your worship, his first name is Turth. That is his name. Yeah.
He only has one name.
I don't know his last name off the top of my head, but that.
We're halfway there.
I just wondered if we could clean it up for the record, with respect to the individuals. And second one, the Kamalaki Community CAA, the Community Center, Senatus update. They're the ones who do our mats and that for the building. The custodial. Was there any? Yeah.
Yeah, we found we were paying huge amounts of money to have the mats cleaned every month. Not being used, so that's been cut way back.
Okay.
Also, like the paper goods, they were filling them up every week where it was supposed to be just as needed. So that's been taken care of. We got some rebates back on a bunch of that stuff. So it's Mr. Little's cleaned that up quite a bit. So
all right, and my last one, well, second last one, the ice machine update. Did we not spend some money on fixing that ice machine? Is there something new that's happening?
We spent about close to $2,000 fixing that machine up. So it's at the point where the next time it needs to be fixed, we're gonna have to look at replacing it because it's. Betty put it in there when she was working for the township, she said, so it's due. It's last leg, so. And they didn't know what was wrong with it until they get into it, right? So you're paying for the guy to be there, they put the part in and. But that won't happen again.
So basically it's an awareness that something goes, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question, the new playground equipment for Blue Point and Arrow Woods, Blue Imp, we've used them before, have we not? Yeah, we're quite happy with their,
Probably last 4 parks, 4 or 5 parks was Blue Imp.
I thought the name sounded familiar.
Yeah, they're all Canadian, all everything and. Very good to us.
Nothing else? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Your worship.
Yes. I'm sorry. Mr.
As you've asked for an amendment to the Parks and Recreation minutes, you should write as amendment on the motion.
Right. Okay, that's been added to that motion. Call for the vote. All those in favor? Aaron's not here, but still good help. Good.
Yeah, it's like slow on the draw.
It's all right.
I was waiting for the hammer to start moving.
All right, let's go to item 6.3. Deputy?
Yes, Mr. Bougen, you're first because you had such a successful event this week.
Yeah, not me, but the events committee themselves, yes. Yeah, they hosted their picnic in the park event at McKay Park. The weather wasn't great, but it was still a really good turnout, so I can only imagine how much busier it would have been had it been nice and warm. But no, it was another super successful picnic in the park event at McKay. The event committee did a great job. Community groups were there, organizations were there. It was a good day.
Yeah. Mr. Bailey,
I have nothing to report, actually. I was there on the weekend and it was, you could tell people were holding off to see if the sun was coming, but it was a lot busier than I thought it would be, so
Ms. Rodriguez.
kudos to everyone.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wolvett.
I guess the only thing I have at the picnic in the park, very successful. I was there with in charge of the farm safety trailer and we had lots of kids through there. Very successful day. So thank you to you, your committee there for asking us to be involved there.
Van Claveren.
Nothing to report.
Nothing.
Deputy Mayor.
Goodness.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
I have only one thing. I was able to be at the official opening of our new store in Wyoming. Utterly delicious, the ice cream store. At the official opening, the ribbon cutting ceremony. So place was packed and I'm hearing stories. People are coming in every night to get something. So that's good. What about you, Deputy?
Yes, I was at a Plympton-Wyoming Historical Society meeting and excuse me, they're gonna have get a response from Lori Reed, a summer student who will do some video type of things for them, but they need a couple of new computers, so they're gonna go and buy a couple of new computers. So and then invest the remaining money for the time being. The old town hall sign, which was in poor condition. So it'll be installed inside rather than outside. That's what they want. See, and they are anticipating visitors at museum on June 21. Canada Day, is that 21? Right? No, yep, 21. Canada Day with all the activities being held there, so and then I was away at a conference, committee of investment conference, so learning, so and some playing, you know, a little bit of that too, so that's about all I've done this.
So did you find the conference as good as they have been in the past?
No, the place was fantastic. The learning wasn't quite as good as some of the others that I've been to, but still there was some. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Deputy. Okay, item 7, accounts. We have nothing under that, Deputy Clerk. All right, let's go to item 8.1, first of our staff reports. Moved by Deputy Mayor McEwen, seconded by Councillor Bojan, that the report by Elizabeth Cummings, Drainage and Engineering Coordinator dated May the 21st, 2025, regarding a petition for drainage works by owners of Lot 1 and 2, Plan 527 in Hillcrest Heights be received, and that council accepts the petition as filed on May the 21st, 2025 under Section 4 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990. And that council appoints R. Dobbin Engineering to examine the the area requiring drainage and prepare a report on the matter. So you've had a chance to review Ms. Cummings' report. She is in attendance. Any questions? Councilor Bojan?
Just a quick question. I know the petition came from like the corner of Lakeshore and Gorge. So through you, just to clarify, is the scope of that project, are they looking at the entire Lakeside Street, like all the way down, or is this focused solely on that petition area?
Cummings?
The petition was only for those two lots. I believe they did request other landowners to sign, but they were not able to get any further signatures at this time. So at the on-site meeting, the engineer will scope and see if there is a need or request to do further drainage. And the roads department, I know, have had issues with drainage as well. They may choose, Paul may want to speak to that. They may choose to sign a petition with council's blessing, of course, for the roads. But at this point, there's only two petitioners, but at least it's starting the ball rolling.
Thank you.
Mr. De Silva, did you want to comment on that?
Sure, thank you, Your Worship. The roads department is seriously considering submitting a petition for drainage. Since I've been here, that's probably the #1 area I've received complaints regarding drainage and the condition of the road. And we're a little hesitant to do anything with the road unless we get some improved drainage. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a petition before you here in the next couple of months.
Councilor Rodriguez?
So how does that petition affect the landowners, or is it just going to be the road that's going to get the drainage?
Through Your Worship. So by the road authority requesting drainage, the engineer will look specifically at providing drainage for the road. However, there will be outlet assessment to the ratepayers in the area because they will benefit as well.
Thank you.
Any further? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's carried. Go to item 8.2. I have a motion by Councilor Basie, seconded by Councilor Bojan, that the report by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated May the 21st, 2025, regarding the replacement of groin on Mandalman Road, Lake Huron shoreline be received. The quote submitted by Babcock Marine and Shoreline Services in the amount of $105,000 plus HST. Be accepted, and that bylaw 56 of 2025 taken as having been read 3 times and finally passed. The mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. Council, once again, you've had an opportunity to read Mr. De Silva's report. He is with us. Any questions? Councilor Wolvett?
Is it just the one property owner that obviously they've committed $25,000 to this? Is it just the one that's going to benefit from this groin? Or is there others that are going to benefit and then maybe chipped into this 25,000?
De Silva?
Yeah, through Your Worship. Because of the way the lake kind of funnels down there, it's mostly that upstream kind of landowner that would benefit from that by preserving their beach. The resident on the other side is part of the city of Sarnia. They haven't been contacted, but there is another groin kind of a little bit further I guess west from that location that benefits that property.
Okay, so has this all been approved by Conservation Authority?
We do not have our permits as of yet, but we will get permits before we start construction yet.
No, there already was a groin there, correct?
Correct.
Steel groin there before?
Steel groin past the point of repair needs to be completely replaced.
The reason I ask that question is because certainly some of the meetings I've been to on erosion control is that every time you put in a groin or any kind of break wall or whatever, it can divert sand big time to different locations. You know that we went through this at the park out there, right? That we had to make sure, you know, we weren't diverting the sand somewhere up to some other property owner. So I'm sure you're gonna look at that, make sure it doesn't affect or erode somebody else's property.
Yeah, through your worship, it's a like for like replacement, so we're not expecting any adverse effects on any other properties. It's basically status quo.
Sure.
Councillor Rodriguez.
The outlet there. Doesn't enter the water and. Is this the one by Ferris Park? So in like in Huron Crest where they didn't put that out. Like, farther out into the water. It caused a lot of erosion and this pipe is, in my opinion, the same way. Is there any plans to possibly extend that? Lead pipe farther to slow down the erosion there?
Mr. De Silva.
Yeah, through your worship, that pipe is part of a municipal drain and was replaced yeah, not too long ago. So the engineer would have reviewed that at that time and determined that its outlet location was in an appropriate spot. That groin does help. That water just kind of trickles out of that groin, so it does help to kind of preserve that beach in that area as well.
Anything further? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, 8.3, a motion by Councillor Wolvette, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren. That the report prepared by Nicole Campbell, Executive Assistant, Corporate Services, dated May the 15th, 2025, be received. And council approves the Community Futures Lambton Payment Agreement in the amount of $2,500 to enhance the Christmas in the Village event. That bylaw 53 of 2025 be taken as having been read 3 times, finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. It's nice that we got some money. That's good. Any questions? All those in favor? You have a question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So on the cost breakdown of requested amount, like, do you have to do those things to get the 2,500? Do you have to invest all that money?
Invest it all.
It's a guideline.
It's good. Thank you.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's go to item 9.1. A motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Councillor Wolvette, that bylaw 57 of 2025 being a bylaw to provide the final tax levy for the year 2025 for properties in residential and farmland. Farmland waiting development, multi-residential, new multi-residential, commercial, shopping center, farmland, pipeline, industrial, large industrial, landfill, parking lot, managed forest, aggregate extraction classes, and small scale on-farm commercial and industrial business first and second subclasses, and to provide for the payment of taxes and to provide for penalty and interest of 1.25% per month. Be taken as having been read 3 times and finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. Questions? Deputy Mayor?
I wonder if the treasurer can explain to me what farmland waiting development 1 and farmland waiting development 2, what's the difference?
Being 1 and 2?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions? Call Council Wolvette.
Under the managed, bush lot managed, forest, do you have very many requests, on that or how many acres would you have managed in our district? Is it a big item?
And I don't know the acres. But that is handled through the county. So, managed forest, they have to meet certain requirements,
Because they get a tax break, right?
and they do get a tax break.
Significant tax break if you manage your woodlot, correct? And do you know what that figure is, the discount on your taxes?
I thought it was the same as farmland.
I thought it was, yeah. I thought it was fairly high.
It's 100%.
600%.
Anyways, I get an answer from you some other time, but we do have some requests for managed forests, right? Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Council?
No, that's all.
Anything else? Call for the vote. All those in favor? Great. Okay, let's go to 10.1 correspondence. A motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Councillor Wolbett. Correspondence suggests the following motion: that the correspondence submitted by the Plympton-Wyoming Special Events Committee received and the Plympton-Wyoming Special Events Committee Celebrate Canada event be declared a municipally significant event in accordance with the regulation for a special occasion permit by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. Are there any questions on this? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Great. Okay, we'll go to item 11. Correspondence, recommended reading and routine approval and information items. Moved by Councillor Wolbett, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren, that the correspondence items A to E relating to recommended reading and routine approval and information items be noted as received the Plympton-Wyoming Council and filed accordingly. I'm going to begin on my left. Anything to poll or recognize? Councillor Wolbett?
No, sir.
Van Claveren?
Well, thank you, sir.
Deputy Mayor?
No, sir.
All right. Councillor Rodriguez?
Yes, thank you. Item C,
C?
regarding John Kent and the Old Dresden proposed enlarging of the dump. I think we should be supporting them in their efforts.
So you'd like to pull that and support it?
Yes, I think it does increase traffic through here if that goes through.
They're saying no, but we do know it does happen. Yeah. Anything else from you? Councillor Vaizey?
Nothing, your worship, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Logan?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Just have one question on the trails, and I don't want to pull it, just a question. What is a doodle poll?
So she just puts out like a survey thing, survey monkey. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just check which date you picks a date, gets a date happens.
Okay. No, thank you very much. So this one will be accept item C. And then I think you have to do a new motion. That's right.
Same.
Sorry.
Leave and accept. Then we can do it. We can do it in. So I'll do this one first, council. It's the motion moved by Councilor Wolbett and Councilor Van Claveren for correspondence items A to E. Relating to recommended reading, routine approval, and information items to be noted as received by Plympton-Wyoming Council. Filed accordingly, saved and accept item C. All those in favor? Carried. We have a motion by Councillor Rodriguez, seconded by Councillor Vaizey, and the council support correspondence from item C that the resolution from Chatham Kent regarding Bill 5 be supported and a letter of support be sent to the municipality of Chatham Kent. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's go to item 12, new business. Councillor Rodriguez, anything new for you?
Oh, yes, thank you. I just wanted to mention that I do see backhoe at Harris Point Drive and Lakeshore Road for that water break, so not sure where things are at or what they're doing.
Your worship, thanks for bringing that up. I was going to bring it up at the end as well. So they've been working there all day and they did manage to find what they believe is the source of the leak. So that repair will take place tomorrow. They're going to try to keep Harris Point Drive open to at least one lane of traffic. They might have to close the road down and detour around a sunset if necessary. And we're not anticipating anybody to be out of water unless, you know, something emergency happens tomorrow during the repair. But if everything goes to plan, it should be completed tomorrow.
And I haven't been to Highland Glen Park in the last week or so, but it was coming along nicely with the accessible matting. Is it going to stop at the top of the seawall, or did you come up with a solution for?
Ms. Silva?
Through your worship, we can't exactly go down to the lake itself because of the fluctuating lake levels. However, we are planning on putting a bit of a walkway along that seawall and then a bit of a congregation area, maybe a picnic table or something where people could sit there.
Councillor Vaizey?
I have nothing, your worship.
Councillor Bowden?
Just one question through you, Mr. DeSilla, just because it was asked yesterday. Do we have any update from the county on those lights at Fleming and Lakeshore? I saw that I think they repaired the conduits or whatever where they are going. So I think the plows hit them over winter. But is there an update on when they're being put up?
Mr. Silva?
Your worship, this is something I've been talking to the county a lot about. The issue right now seems to be that at one time they had that executing put a fiber optic overhead across the road. And now that's causing them problems with where they're gonna locate their poles. They're also having some slight issues with the contractor, but they wouldn't get into details on what those issues were. So still planned, I just don't have an exact timeline on that yet.
Deputy? Councillor Van Claveren?
Nothing for me through.
Councillor Mulbat?
I do have one item, it's to do with the strong mayor's power. And for the last couple of meetings, we've been getting an email town hall on the mayor has decided not to veto any of your bylaws or way the council voted on the bylaws. Now, first time I read it, I thought I didn't think anything of it, but the second time I read it, I'm thinking kind of odd, because if the mayor is going to veto the approval of the council of the bylaw, then I would expect to get an email saying, hey, the bylaw that you guys just passed has been vetoed by the mayor. Then we get to react accordingly. But to get one saying you chose not to veto any of your bylaws that you just passed, it's kind of odd. So I don't know what's the policy, but it just
Worship, if I may.
backwards.
So there is a 2-day period where the mayor has the ability to state his intent to possibly veto. After that, I believe it's 14 days, he has to decide if he chooses to veto. After that 14 days, there is a period where council has the ability to choose to try to veto his veto. That can be all eliminated if the mayor states in writing that he has no intentions on vetoing any of the bylaws, which then makes those bylaws come into place immediately. If the mayor were not to provide that decision in writing to council and post it on our website, those bylaws would take almost 30 days to come into place. So that's why the clerk's department is sending out those notifications to notify council and the public that he has waived his veto of those bylaws and they can now be enforced. So in addition to council receiving it, there is also a specific section on our webpage directly attesting to this mayor's decisions and directions as the strong mayor, that the public can see those directions and decisions.
Yeah, no, and that's a great explanation. It just seemed backwards. Like, I could see you sending something out saying the mayor's decided to veto council on their bylaw, but send it out saying he's happy. Yeah, it didn't. Okay, I thought that's a good explanation.
So we'll
So,
be receiving that every meeting from here on.
so is that consistent across the province then, that has to be done that way?
No, that's the way we've chosen to do it, to ensure that our bylaws come into force immediately. Because to do otherwise could result in, delay award of
Yeah.
tenders and many of other functions. So the mayor and the clerk decided that was the best way to go about it, to ensure that anything time sensitive can be carried out immediately.
Yeah, it does create a lot more paperwork. The clerk's got to prepare it. Now the mayor's got to sign it every meeting we have that we make a bylaw. I personally, I think it's overkill, but if it's simplifying your job, letting us know that, hey, everything's fine, then okay, but it just didn't seem right to me.
Most municipalities we've talked to are doing it this way to ensure that the bylaws come into force immediately.
Okay.
And what we're finding as staff is probably the biggest effect of the strong mayor powers currently is not so much on how we're functioning, but on the work of the clerks, because they are the ones having to track those decisions, directions, post them, etc. It's adding another layer of work to the clerk's department.
Okay, well, that explains it. I'm sure everybody else now has a clear explanation why that's coming to us every time.
Well, I think it's good that the public knows as well. It is on our website.
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe I checked too soon and I haven't looked again. And for the public's knowledge, where on the website is it?
Deputy Clerk?
Under, through the mayor, under mayoral decisions, there's a new webpage. And you can see all
A
the,
new icon to click on?
yeah, it's just, you can search it probably easy in the search bar, mayoral decisions. And
Okay.
then each one has the CAO mentioned or listed.
Thank you. That's all I have. Yep.
Nothing else under new business. We'll move to, we have no closed meeting this evening. I have a motion on the number 14. Moved by Deputy Mayor McEwen, seconded by Councillor Bojan. Bylaw 58 of 2025 being a bylaw to confirm all resolutions of the council meeting held May the 28th, 2025 be taken as read 3 times, finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. All those in favor? It's carried. Council, before we adjourn this part of the meeting, when we do have, as you're aware, quite a few drainage meetings coming up beginning at 6 o'clock. I'm pleased to introduce, if you haven't already met him, I'm pleased to introduce Ryan Tammy, our new drainage coordinator, who will be taking over from Elizabeth, who I believe retires the end of June. And June the 20th, council and staff, there's a little exception to honor Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we're going to miss you, obviously, but Ryan, we certainly welcome you to Plympton-Wyoming. Forward to working with you. Thank you. Good to have you here. Okay, council, I'm going to adjourn this meeting shortly, and we will. Councillor Van Clavin, if you'd like to refresh us who you need, I believe Councillor Morris is coming from Warwick, joining with us as well for the 6 o'clock one.
Correct.
So refresh your memory who's
Sure. So for our first meeting at 6, it would be Councillor Wolvet, myself, and Councillor Morris from Township of Warwick.
Okay.
Then for the second meeting, then we'll be calling in and all our councillors know who needs to step in. You will not be required to step in, nor will Mr. Vacy. And then the next 2 reconsideration meetings, full council.
We're all here. Thank you very much for that. So council, before we adjourn, just to remind you, I'd ask you to be back in your seats for at least 5 to 6. Is that okay, Councillor Van Clavin? Okay, moved by Councillor Bojan, seconded by Deputy Mayor McEwen, that the regular council meeting be adjourned till the next regular meeting to be held on June the 11th, 2025, commencing at 5 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. So council, you have freedom. We'll be back in your seats by 5 to 6. Those who are joining with us, we are going to take a short break, waiting for the drainage committees to be 6 o'clock sharp.
everyone. Why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm John Van Claveren and I'm the chair of the Drainage Committee. And we're here for 4 drainage meetings tonight. We thank you if you happen to be in chambers with us or if you're following along online. So always worthwhile to learn and be part of what is happening in your community and on your property. Allow me to set the tone for this meeting. This is a formal meeting subject to the standard rules of decorum. Kindly set phones on vibrate or turn off, and we endeavor to always show respect and kindly expect the same in return. A quick reminder, if you have a helpful comment or question, kindly raise your hand. Once you're recognized, state your name and address for the record. We ask that you refrain from speaking out of turn or engaging in side conversations. Please note that a sensitive ceiling microphone is in place and can pick up most dialogue. Okay, it is 6 o'clock and we'll get started with our first drainage meeting, which is a court of revision for the Kernahan O'Donnell Drain Section 76. If there's any pecuniary interest or conflict of interest, now is the time to make that known. If there's none heard, we'll carry on. The purpose of the Court of Revision is to hear appeals from landowners regarding the schedule of assessment only, as set out in the engineer's report dated March 26, 2025 for the Kernahan O'Donnell Drain Section 76. The Court of Revision has no authority to change the engineer's report in any way. The schedule of assessment may be altered, but the total must remain the same. If one assessment is reduced, then the other assessments must be increased to reach the balance. Allow me to introduce the members of the court and the staff present. To my left is Councillor Bob Wolvett, and we have a guest councillor from the Township of Warwick, Councillor Wayne Morris. We're glad to have you here. Drainage engineering coordinators, and I say that plural, Elizabeth Cummings and our new coordinator Ryan Tamming, our drainage clerk Jessica Wilson, Director of Public Works Paul De Silva, our CAO Adam Sabansky, our executive director assistant is here, Diane Gould Brown, and the engineer on the project is Mr. Mike Garretts. Mr. Garretts, I'll turn it over to you. Mr.
To the chair and to the court. So the assessment was a section 76 report assessed to the 100% of the cost applied as an outlet assessment within the watershed based on equivalent hectares, and there haven't been any appeals.
Very good, very good. Any question from our court? Morris?
None for me, sir.
Comfortable with that?
No, sir.
Did any correspondents come in with questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Any online questions? Anybody online with us today following along? Okay. Well, I do have a motion signed by Councillor Bob Wolvett and seconded by Councillor Wayne Morris that the Court of Revision meeting, pardon me, and myself, the court confirms the schedule of assessment and schedules of maintenance for the Kernahan O'Donnell Drain as submitted by the engineer on March 26, 2025. All in favor? Carried. Motion signed by Councillor Bob Wolford, seconded by Councillor Wayne Morris, that the Court of Revision meeting for the Kernahan O'Donnell Drain be adjourned. Councillor Morris, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That was pivotal.
No.
Hey, good evening. Why don't we get us started with our second drainage meeting of the night, which is the quarter revision for the McDonald, Latley and McDonald drains. You have any pecuniary or conflict of interests? You make that known now, please. The purpose of the quarter revision is to hear appeals from landowners regarding the schedule of assessment only. As set out in the engineer's report dated April 7th, 2025 for the McDonald, Gallatley and McDonald drains. The quarter revision has no authority to change the engineer's report in any way. The schedule of assessment may be altered, but the total must remain the same. If one assessment is reduced, then the other assessments must be increased to balance. Let me introduce the members of the court and staff present. I'm the chair, John Van Claveren. We have councillors Bob Wolvett, councillors Bojan, Councillor Rodriguez, and Deputy Mayor McEwen. Our drainage and engineering coordinators Elizabeth Cummings and Ryan Taming. Drainage clerk Jessica Wilson. Director of Public Works Paul De Silva. CAO Adam Sabansky, and our executive assistant Diane Gould Brown. We'll now turn it over to the engineer in our project, Mr. Josh Warner.
Thank you. Through the chair, I will give a brief overview of the assessments and then make myself available for any comments or questions. So the report has been assessed with all the roads and utilities being assessed in accordance with section 26 of the Drainage Act. The cost of replacing concrete box access culverts has been assessed with 35% of the cost applied as a benefit assessment and the remainder of the cost assessed to upstream lands and roads based on equivalent hectares. The cost of removing culvert number 12 has been assessed to the property as a special benefit assessment as it is a secondary access and will not be eligible for grant. The remaining cost has generally been assessed with approximately 40% of the estimated costs as a benefit assessment and the remainder assessed as an outlet assessment to upstream lands and roads. To date, I have not received any written or verbal appeals.
Very good. Thank you, Josh. Is there any question in chambers on this particular drain in regards to your assessments? Any questions on our council? Any questions or written appeals that came in, Jessica?
No.
Okay. I have a motion here signed by Deputy Mayor McEwen and seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett that the court confirms the schedule of assessment and schedules of maintenance for the McDonald, Gallatley and McDonald drains as submitted by the engineer on April 7th, 2025. All in favor? It's carried. Another motion signed by Deputy Mayor McEwen, seconded by Councillor Bob Wolvett, that the quarter revision meeting for the McDonald, Gallatley and McDonald drains be adjourned. All in favor? That's carried. That concludes this particular drainage meeting. We'll be starting the other one shortly, the third, which is scheduled to start at 6:20. In about 5 minutes. get started on our third drain this evening, which is the reconsideration meeting. The Annet drain, you might recall, we had a consideration meeting. We sent it back to the engineer to rework a bit, and so here we are, reconsideration meeting. If there are any declarations of pecuniary or conflict of interest, now is the time to declare that, please and thank you. The purpose of this reconsideration meeting is to discuss the technical aspects of the updated drainage report dated April 25th, 2025 for the Annet drain. If there are assessment concerns, these will be addressed at the quarter revision. Allow me to introduce the council and staff personnel present. I'm John Van Claveren, Chair of the Drainage Committee. Mayor Gary Atkinson, Deputy Mayor Nettie McEwen, Councillors Wolvette, Rodriguez, Vasey, and Bojan. Our drainage and engineering coordinators, Elizabeth Cummings and Ryan Tamming. Our drainage clerk, Jessica Wilson, Director of Public Works, Paul De Silva, their CAO, Adam Sabansky, their Executive Assistant, Diane Gould Brown. Josh Warner is our engineer on behalf of our Dobbin Engineering, and I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Warner.
Thank you. Again, I'll give a brief overview of the report and then make myself available for any comments or questions. As was mentioned, this is a reconsidered report for the Annet drain. So the Annet drain report was referred back on April 9th, 2025 to address the potential removal petition from the owner of the property with roll number 10-399. There were two petitions that we were addressing as part of the report. They're from the properties with roll numbers 10-401 and then 10-399. So 10-401 is on the east side of Wanstead, 10-399 is on the west. So we had at the meeting, the landowner of the property with roll number 10-401 wished to continue with the petition. In order to provide an outlet for this petitioning property, it was required to extend the drain across Wanstead into the north of catch basin number 4. So at the meeting, multiple options were discussed for drainage south of the proposed catch basin number 4. The first being the private connection of the two basins discussed at the meeting to consider. As the basins are in the roads right of way, drain the road and go to a drain in unknown location and condition, it was determined this would not be the preferred option. The option of an open channel was also discussed again. This would involve multiple culverts, increased maintenance, and may increase some landowner assessment with the culvert costs. It's therefore determined that the original direction of a tile drain under the Drainage Act would provide the best solution for the area. And the owner of the property with roll number 10-399 wished to continue with their petition. The report is therefore nearly the same to what was originally proposed, with some minor changes to allowances and engineering costs. The total estimated cost for the project is $178,208. At this time, I'm available for any comments or questions.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Any questions from the floor in regards to this drain? I know many of you have already called in over the course of time and talked to Elizabeth and gotten some answers to questions. Any questions from council? Yes.
Well, I think the only question I would have, Josh, is landowners are happy with this revision for reconsideration? You're not having any real problems here?
Through the chair, that's correct. We had a meeting and discussed all the options, and moving forward, they felt this was the best option.
For now, thank you very much. Were there any written correspondence, Jessica? Anything, anybody online with us now, Ms. Gould? Okay, I have a motion signed by Councillor Bob Wolvette and seconded by Councillor Vasey. The report by Josh Warner, engineer of R. Dobbin Engineering Incorporated, dated April 25th, 2025, regarding the Annet drain be adopted as presented, and that provisional bylaw 32 of 2025 be taken as having been read a first, second, time and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. All in favor? Carried. Motion signed by Councillor Frank Basie, second by Councillor Bob Willett. The consideration meeting for Ukraine. All in favor? Thank you very much. All that attended this particular meeting. We have one remaining drainage meeting that's going to begin promptly at 6:30. So about 4 minutes. And that's the reconsideration meeting for the McCall O'Donnell drain. Let's get into this last drain. Wait for you, so thanks. Keeping it going. This is the reconsideration meeting for the McCall O'Donnell drain. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest at this time? Hearing none, I would request members to make the appropriate declaration if necessary throughout the meeting. Purpose of this reconsideration meeting is to discuss the technical aspects of the updated drainage report dated May the 2nd, 2025 for the McCall O'Donnell drain. If there are assessment concerns, these will be addressed at the Court of Revision. Allow me to introduce the council and staff present. I'm John Van Claveren, the chair of this committee. I'd like to introduce our Mayor, Gary Atkinson, our Deputy Mayor, Nettie McEwen, Councillors Wolvette, Rodriguez, Vasey, and Bojan, Drainage and Engineering Coordinators, Elizabeth Cummings and Ryan Tamming, our Drainage Clerk, Jessica Wilson, Director of Public Works, Paul De Silva, our CAO, Adam Sabansky, and our Executive Assistant, Diane Gould Brown. The engineer on the project is Josh Warner on behalf of R. Dobbin Engineering Incorporated. Mr. Warner will provide a summary of the engineer's report. Here's.
Thank you again. I'll provide an overview of the report and then make myself available for any questions. So this is the reconsidered report on the McCall O'Donnell drain. The report was referred back on April 9th to address options with the tile between Douglas Line and Utoxeter Road. The original report proposed to abandon the existing 625 millimeter diameter tile from 1995 as part of the drainage works, but still have it connected for additional capacity. An 825 millimeter diameter tile was proposed to be installed next to the existing drain to provide a capacity of 38 mils per 24 hours, which is the grantable coefficient. At the meeting with the landowners, it was decided that the 825 tile should be proposed, but the 625 millimeter diameter tile from 1995 would remain as part of the drainage works. This will provide a combined capacity of 57 millimeters per 24 hours. As this exceeds the grantable design standard, a portion of the project will not be eligible for grant. This amount has been separated in the schedule assessment and totals of approximately $15,000. The report also still includes the enclosure downstream of Utoxeter Road with a 825 millimeter diameter tile that will convey the upstream improvements. The total estimated cost for the project is $297,006. Again, at this time, I'm available for any comments or questions.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Any questions from the chambers? I wanted to commend the neighbors. We thought we had an excellent meeting with you folks, and it was very professional. We talked through a lot of dynamics and we eventually landed on a consensus. It was really, really well done. Any questions on council? Yes, Councilor Rodriguez.
Just one, obviously with the option that's that there's been consensus on, in my mind, that would not affect any approvals from the Conservation Authority.
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct. Basically, we're keeping the original proposal, but keeping the existing tiles part of the drainage work. So hydraulically and from a conservation perspective, it didn't change.
Any other questions on council? Any written correspondence come in? Jessica, thank you. I do have a motion signed by Councillor Bob Wolvette and seconded by Councillor Mike Vasey. The report by Josh Warner, engineer of R. Dobbin Engineering Incorporated, dated May 2nd, 2025, regarding all Donald Drain be adopted as presented, and that provisional bylaw 31 of 2025 be taken as having been read a first and second time, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. All in favor? Carried. And the motion signed by Councillor Mike Vasey, seconded Councillor Bob Wolvette, that the reconsideration meeting Paul O'Donnell Drain be adjourned. Favor?
Carried.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes the drainage meetings. I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Counselor Clavering. I guess that's basically we've closed our meeting for this evening, and if anybody's joining with us, thank you again. And with us, thank you, Mr. Warner.
You're having.
And this meeting is adjourned.